Now, a new era has officially landed in WWE. Vince McMahon has finally retired and will have nothing to do with the day-to-day operations of the world's biggest wrestling promotion. Due to McMahon being gone, fans are expecting some major changes to be implemented on screen, and these changes will hopefully come sooner rather than later. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at 10 huge changes that are coming or have already been implemented to WWE now that Vince McMahon has retired. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out Wrestlelamia.co.uk and our non-wrestling channel, Incredible. Number 10. Less scripted promos. One of the criticisms of modern WWE is that the promos delivered by superstars feel forced and unnatural. WWE heavily scripts their promos and only lets a select few superstars deviate away from the scripted material. This limits creativity, and one of the main reasons for WWE micromanaging promo content is so that talents don't go off on a tangent and potentially infringe on PG guidelines. Thankfully, there have been reports that the new head of WWE Creative, Triple H, is going to allow talent to be more natural with their promos. Triple H is in favor of abandoning the fully scripted promo and in favor of either improvised promos or bullet point-led scripting. This is welcome news, and hopefully WWE fully commits to this idea. Number 9. Intergender wrestling. Over the past decade, there's been a vast increase in the popularity of intergender wrestling. Whilst popular on the independent scene, WWE has distanced themselves from the concept, and they've even stated in several interviews that they have no desire to introduce male versus female matches onto their programming. If Triple H wants to make a strong impression, introducing intergender wrestling into WWE programming would be an interesting move. Intergender wrestling in a PG environment would be hard and would likely receive complaints. However, under a TV-14 rating, this would be more achievable. When WWE have explored this concept in the past, for instance when Baron Corbin performed the End of Days on Becky Lynch, it received an enormous reaction. However, it was worth noting that Corbin did receive death threats. The WWE would have to be careful with how they introduced intergender wrestling, but there is certainly a demand for it, and now this could be the best time for WWE to pull the trigger. Number 8. Returning stars. An exciting concept since Triple H has taken over is the idea that some superstars could be returning to WWE. Over the past 2 years, WWE have released so many talents, and most of them were instrumental in the success of Triple H's NXT. It would only be logical for Triple H to look to re-sign some of these talents, as he knows just how good they are. This was seen in late July when Triple H decided to bring back Dakota Kai. Kai had previously left the company on her own terms and had no interest in re-signing a WWE contract. However, with Triple H at the helm, Kai was more willing than ever to come back into the mix. The same could be likely said about other talent that have parted ways with WWE. Talents being rumoured for a return include Bray Wyatt, Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae, and even Karrion Kross. Number 7. Pushing smaller talent. It's common knowledge that Vince McMahon was never the biggest fan of smaller wrestlers. McMahon always had the belief that WWE superstars should be larger than life, and this narrow-minded mindset often resulted in certain superstars never getting their big break. During Triple H's era of NXT, anyone could be pushed, no matter their size. All that mattered was that they were a compelling character and were able to get over with the crowd. This meant that talents such as Chad Gable and Ricochet may find themselves pushed on television, and the days of only pushing larger talents are thankfully over, and it's time for a new era where anyone can become a main eventer. Number 6. Elevation of mid-card titles. Rather frustratingly, Vince McMahon over the past decade has clearly forgotten the importance of mid-card titles. Both the US and Intercontinental title haven't been given the respect they deserve. Unfortunately, the Intercontinental title never seems to be defended on pay-per-views anymore, the once prestigious title that has seemingly become more of a television title. This was a title which used to represent that the holder was one step away from the main event scene, and the person holding that title was next in line to be the top star in the company. It was also nicknamed the Work Rate title. Talents such as Shawn Michaels, Mr. Perfect, and Razor Ramon were given the title, as WWE knew they would have amazing matches which would elevate the prestige of the title. Without a doubt, Triple H is going to put a ton of effort into making these titles mean something again. This was seen during his first episode of Raw as head of WWE Creative. A strong portion of the show was built around naming a new #1 contender for the US title. This is exactly how the mid-card titles are elevated, and hopefully Triple H puts the same focus on the IC title. Number 5. Tag Team Wrestling Focus. A former chairman, Vince McMahon, has never been a fan of tag team wrestling. McMahon has never valued it as a concept and believed that it never drew money. Current AEW tag team FTR, also known as the Revival in WWE, would claim that they departed WWE as McMahon didn't respect tag team wrestling and they wanted no part of this organization. When Triple H was running NXT, there was always a focus on tag team wrestling and he made sure the titles remained prominent and more importantly relevant. The game would introduce the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, which focused on tag team wrestling whilst paying tribute to an all-time great. The main roster tag division has the opportunity to be legendary. With insanely talented teams such as the Usos, the Street Profits and the New Day, the talent is there. Triple H just needs to implement compelling angles and storylines. Number 4. No more PG era. There have been rumors circulating that WWE could be looking to leave behind the PG era. These rumors state that WWE and the USA Network have agreed to make WWE Raw a TV-14 product, while SmackDown will remain a PG presentation. Rumors of this change have died down recently, but Triple H could finally be the one to push the change through. Triple H became a star in the Attitude Era, a TV-14 era where the limits of what WWE could deliver weren't confined by PG regulations. Triple H could be a big supporter of this change, and with Triple H as head of creative and his wife Stephanie McMahon being the CEO of WWE, this monumental change could become a reality. One of the things that a TV-14 product would allow is bloodshed during matches. Under PG guidelines, WWE aren't allowed to show blood, and if they do, they usually receive a ton of backlash from certain fans and sponsors. If they revert to the TV-14 era, blood can once again be used in major matches, which would certainly help push certain gimmick matches such as Hell in a Cell and Last Man Standing matches to the next level. Number 3. Raw going back to 2 hours. Back in 2015, Triple H appeared on Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast on the WWE Network. One of the things Triple H revealed was that if he could change anything about WWE, he would make Raw a 2-hour product. 3 hours of Raw on a weekly basis has become excessive for the past decade, and it's simply too much to handle. WWE going back to the 2-hour format would be a welcome change and may see some lapsed fans return to the product. The issue is that WWE has a set contract with the USA Network to produce 3 hours of TV every week. Number 2. Improved commentary. Vince McMahon had a habit of micromanaging his commentary team. McMahon was notorious for constantly being in the ear of Michael Cole and sometimes even yelling at him when he said the wrong thing. McMahon has also had a set list of words that the WWE commentary team weren't permitted to say, and these included words such as title and hospital. In the short term that Triple H has been in charge of WWE Creative, we've seen that this micromanagement style has gone completely out of the window. During this year's SummerSlam pay-per-view, Michael Cole received widespread praise for his commentary, as Cole was passionate, humorous, and even took subtle digs at his former boss. And number 1, creating new stars. From a business perspective, WWE has vastly changed how they market themselves over the past few years. Since John Cena stepped away from WWE, they've shown reluctance of marketing shows based off on one superstar instead of opting to market and promote the entire WWE brand. Whilst fans could argue that Roman Reigns is the face of the company, that is certainly correct. WWE pride themselves on saying that the fans are paying to see the WWE as a whole, not just one superstar. This falls in line with the WWE's prior reluctance to make new stars. Under Vince McMahon's regime, when the certain stars get organically over, McMahon would just cancel their push, and he would do anything in his power to stop that superstar potentially becoming bigger than the WWE product. This mentality needs to go away with immediate effect. Triple H needs to make new stars, and it doesn't matter who they are. If a talent gets over with the audience and their performance in the ring is of the quality fans expect, then there's no reason why the WWE shouldn't fully invest in that specific superstar. But there you have it, folks, 10 huge changes that are coming or have already been made to WWE now that Vince McMahon is retired. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.